Hello, I'm Nadine Aisha Jassat, and I'm one of the judges for this year's Wingword Poetry Prize. I'm a poet and a writer, and my work has been published widely, and I'm really excited to be connecting to the Poetry Prize and looking forward to reading all of your entries. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you a couple of tips and thoughts for connecting to yourself through your poetry. And the first one is to actually make that time to connect. Make that time to connect to you, knowing that that will help you connect to your poetry in future. So whether that is taking breaks or investing the things that nourish you or remind you of who you are, that stuff is really important. Rest and peace and ease for your mind will allow it to breathe, so that when you come to the page and dedicate your time to writing your poetry, that you have that space there where your mind is free and it's ready to play and explore and create, which is exactly what poetry is, and it's exactly what we want. My second tip, which is a practical one, for you to actually think, right, well, how am I going to connect to myself? How am I going to do this? How am I going to connect to me through my writing, is the concept of free writing. So this is something that loads of different people talk about, and I break it down and say simply it is putting your pen on the paper and just keeping moving, just keeping writing and seeing what comes up. Often people might do this first thing in the morning, or maybe even last thing at night, or maybe just at any point in the day when you feel like your thoughts are all scrambling in your head and you want to still and get everything down on paper. So put pen to paper, just keep writing, don't try and control it, and see what comes up. Free writing is an amazing tool for connecting to your subconscious in that way. I almost think about it as doing the laundry of the mind and seeing what comes up and what comes out. And you might actually surprise yourself with what comes out in that and what you might want to use from that in a new piece. My next tip is to also listen to the pieces that you are writing. Quite often as poets, or even writers more broadly, we might want to try and control the piece that we're working on, but actually maybe think of it, this is a piece that I'm working with, and this creativity or whatever it is that I'm working on in this piece, it has a story to tell me as well. So listen to your gut instinct. When I'm writing, it's almost like I'm tuning my ear to another voice that I'm trying to hear, the voice of the piece. So listen to what the piece is telling you, where the piece wants to go, because you might actually learn from it too. My next tip is to throw out the rulebook, which I know is a strange thing in a video of tips, but I think it's valid. We are all individual people with individual stories and individual voices, and how restrictive and how limiting if we all tried to write in the same way or tried to write like somebody else. So for me, in my practice, what has been important is to actually write using my own voice, and that is in a really conscious way. So I use the regional language in my poetry that fits right for me, as well as all the different languages of families past and present. I draw on all that I am and use words that when I was at school I was told, you shouldn't use language like that. Language like that doesn't go in a poem. And actually I'm saying to you, any language that is authentic to you, that does go in a poem. Use the words that are true to you, that are how you live your life. Write in a way that makes you feel alive and makes you feel connected, and not in a way that makes you feel like you're trying to please somebody else. This leads to my next point, which is that you are writing for you. You are not writing for an audience or a perceived exam marker, even though I know this is a competition that we're talking about. I want to read writing where it is you writing for you. You literally writing your heart out, writing the stories that you want to tell, the topics that you want to talk about, on the terms that you want to talk about them, using your own language and your own thoughts exactly for you. I want to meet that emotion and I want to meet that authenticity. That to me is what is exciting. So don't try to be somebody else. Reclaim and own your own power in your writing by writing like you. My last tip is to have your own back. It's a long journey in poetry, and as you keep writing, your poems are going to change and be exciting. So lean into that journey, but also advocate for yourself. Only you can write like you, and that's a wonderful and glorious thing to explore. So learn and read and expand, and know that it is this long journey. Be kind to yourself, look out for yourself, make time to play and adventure and grow, knowing that every time you are connecting to the wider world, every time you're connecting to the inner world as well, both things are feeding this creativity inside you. And it is that creativity which you are going to meet on the page. And it is that creativity that is going to help make your poetry. Thank you to listening for some of my tips on how to connect to yourself through your writing. I'm really excited to be part of the Wingword Poetry Prize, and I'm looking forward to reading everybody's entry. Have a great day.